Good day, everybody. Welcome to the Great Matter. We've got a special edition coming for you today. We're going to be talking football. Specifically, we're going to be talking NFL. And so let me just warn you right now, it's about to get messy. It's about to get real messy. We're talking fingers in the dirt messy. We're talking like no atheists in foxholes messy. Mm-hmm. We're talking, we might end up ruining some friendships today. We're going to go through each of the divisions and each of the conferences in the NFL. And at this point, we're going to start with the AFC. So as you can see, I'm representing my man Mike Wheeler, who came through for me last year with my Bengals run AFC. Shout out to Mike Wheeler. If you ever need any apparel, that's a man to reach out to. Mm-hmm. He'll hook you up. If you're watching this, you can probably tell who I root for unapologetically, who I represent. You know, I'm not even going to try to pretend that there's like a rivalry or something. No, it's just one team. So as long as we're not talking about them, I can be completely objective and unbiased. Mm-hmm. So. Mm-hmm. And you'll see that because they're going to try to poke the bear. They're going to try to draw me out of my cage on this one. It's coming.
It ain't hard. We ain't got to leave. We ain't got to leave no Scooby snacks outside. You don't come out.
Nah, yeah. Ooh, piece of candy. Ooh, piece of candy. Right.
James Woods.
James Woods with it. Yeah.
Yep. I'm coming. I'm ready to go down the rabbit hole. But let's go ahead and start, like I said, with the AFC. And we're simply going to go division by division and point out exactly what we think is the most important thing going on in that division this year. We're going to start in the AFC East. So we got the Buffalo Bills, Miami Dolphins, New York Jets, and the New England Patriots. Now, traditionally, that's been a conference that had been owned by Tom Brady and Bill Belichick for years. But there's obviously been a changing of the guard recently because Josh Allen said, I'm here.
Power vacuum.
Yep. Dolphins have definitely made some improvements. The Jets are still the Jets. Make no mistake about it. They couldn't even get through the first quarter of a preseason game without reminding us that they have no intention.
They might have got better, though.
Hey, listen.
They might have got better by that kid getting hurt.
Well, okay, so what say you? Talk to me about the AFC East, Paul.
Well, just start with the Jets. I think the Jets might actually be a threat in the first month of the season because of Joe Flacco. They got the boy out of Ohio State, Garrett Wilson, who was my dog. I love Garrett Wilson. Yeah.
Not even just because his name. No, that was just your boy.
No, yeah. The dude's a beast.
Garrett Wilson's a dog.
They had him changing jerseys. Remember his freshman year, they had him wearing 2 jerseys so he could get on the field because he was returning punts? Yeah, that's my guy.
You're right.
Yeah, so they might be interesting, but I doubt it. I'm wondering, I'm not hearing much about what's going on with Miami with Teddy Two Gloves. I expected Teddy Two Gloves to be pushing Tua in training camp. But I don't know. You know how politics work, the reps.
I was going to say, do they really want him to get pushed? Are they even allowing, I should say, Teddy to push?
I don't. You know what? That's a good question.
I'm just going to tell you, I don't think they're even going. I think they are literally like they're putting the governor on Teddy. I think Teddy.
Kind of like
Teddy's job.
Well, it's like what they did. Remember when Michael Vick went to the Jets and they told him don't even try to get the starting job because it's Geno's. Yep. That might be what's happening down there. But I fully expected Teddy Two Gloves to be pushing him because I don't believe much in Tua.
And Andre, you're not allowed to talk about Teddy Bridgewater.
Okay. I was about to start, but go ahead.
No. Teddy Two Gloves. That's my guy.
By week 5, Teddy will be the starter. That's where I'm going with this one. Is by week 5. I don't think I'm with y'all. I think they said, look, you know, this is Tua's job to lose. So just Just play nice in the sandbox, learn the playbook. But I think they like behind closed doors, they like, hey, but get ready. Please get ready.
Right.
Because Tua still hadn't proven that he can stay healthy. And whether it's the ankle, the shoulder, the hip, the wrist, like Tua still has to show up to be able to play all 17 games. He hadn't done that. And then on top of that, he also has to show that he's a functional quarterback, and he hasn't done that either. So by week 5, I got Teddy being in there one way or the other, whether it's Tua playing bad or Tua being hurt. Teddy going to be starting by week 5. I'm not just saying that just because he's a Louisville quarterback. That just helps the whole situation. And it's going to be difficult once Teddy gets the job for him to get it back.
And
because they got weapons.
I was getting ready to say, I honestly don't believe that. I think that there's being more made of the Dolphins upgrading their skill positions than actually what's going to materialize on the field. I don't think that Tyreek Hill, I just don't think he's that valuable if you don't have a great quarterback who can actually distribute the ball. I think he's just going to be a high-priced decoy, frankly. Here's the thing. Even though I think that Teddy Bridgewater is better than Tua, I don't know that he can still maximize on the skill players that they have in Miami. And frankly, I think all of this is a moot point when it comes to the division, because barring some catastrophic injury, the Bills are going to roll it.
Hey,
They should.
Don't count my boy out. Do not count out the evil empire.
I'm gonna have to see what's going on with it. Like, I need the offense to show me something other than dysfunction, because right now I don't understand what. I mean, in the first preseason game, he came off the field when they called a timeout because somebody didn't get to play in on time, and he getting talked to by both coaches, and he looking like, well, which one of y'all who am I supposed to listen to? Like, it was like,
you ain't my real daddy.
Right. It was like when you came in and you caught your stepdad and mom arguing, like, I don't know who I'm supposed to listen to.
Look,
I'm going to just go to my room. Let y'all sort this thing out.
Look, some folks have left. Some changes have got to be made. Things are in flux. Relax. Season is a journey. Somehow they will wind up around 11, 12 games. And you'll be like, how the hell did they do that? That's just what happens.
Did they pick up any speed on defense, though? Because for the last couple of years, the speed on defense has really been the problem, because they've been at, like, any team they've played that had some dogs, they got worked. I know Cam was Cam, but when they played the Ravens, they didn't have a person on. I know this is generalized because they didn't have a person on the field that looked like they could stop Lamar, but like nobody does. But like they got beat like with just flat out like your scheme don't matter. Like, I ain't never seen the Patriots where they scheme didn't matter. Like, I'm literally going to run around you because you don't have anybody that's even remotely fast enough to get here. Like, when Slater's playing meaningful plays, you got a problem.
I know. When you see Slater playing actual downs, something's wrong.
Look here.
Slater don't play nothing but fourth down.
I'm going to make this easy for all of you. Because listen, we've spent 8 minutes on the AFC East, and that's already 7 minutes too long. Because this division, respectfully, I love Bill Belichick. I love the Evil Empire. I love Robert Kraft. Whatever. I love them all. But what are we doing here? Bottom line is, let's get to our predictions. Who's going to win the AFC East? Andre.
Bills. I can keep it nice and short. Bills.
Paul?
Bills.
Okay. Well, then we have a consensus. That's the Bills division to lose, and it would take a lot for them to do it. I'm not saying it's impossible. Like, there are certain divisions where it's like a mortal lock. Mm-hmm. This is right somewhere below a mortal lock.
I'll go further. I think they only get one team in the playoffs.
Yeah. All right, which leads me into our next division, because when you mentioned that only one team will come out of the AFC East, I would argue that no teams should come out of the AFC South. It is, I'm not going to say it's pitiful, but it is definitely the weaker of the four brothers in the AFC.
It's pitiful adjacent.
It's pitiful adjacent, yes. And honestly, the only thing keeping it from being pitiful is the running back in Nashville.
Well, both running backs, the one in Nashville, the one in Indy. If
you don't have a running back, there you go. If y'all not handing the ball off in the AFC South, then nobody should get in. Matter of fact, there might be no teams there that could win without their running backs. But when we talk about the Titans who won the division last year, the Colts who literally, I don't even know how they didn't make the playoffs. They had
defeat from the jaws of victory.
If ever there was such a thing as snatching defeat from the jaws of victory, it was that last game against the Jags.
No, they had 3 times. They only had to win one of the last 3.
Right.
But the last one was the most atrocious because it was the Jags. Mm-hmm. They literally, what they said, they had the buses running.
Yeah, it was a
U-Haul game. They never even turned the buses off.
It was a U-Haul game. They had already signed. They had broke their leases. They had packed up. They were out. Yeah. They was living in a hotel that week.
Yes, like they literally, the team that had the number 1 pick was about to get the number 1 pick again.
Right.
They tried to give you the game. So the Colts, and then we've got the Houston Texans, which it's like we're just trading dumpster fires, right?
Boy.
Like we just going dumpster fire to dumpster. Anyway, so between the Titans and the Colts, who I personally believe are really the only 2 contenders in that division who could make any noise at all, and then the Jags and the Texans, what storyline are you most interested if you absolutely have to find a storyline out of the AFC South? And since you live in one of those AFC South teams, Andre, you are forced to take this division.
I'm good with it. I know I'm a whisper because I'm probably going to get in trouble here living in Nashville saying what I'm about to say.
You in the studio, you got this.
I'm look left to right. All right. The Colts going to win the division. I know we're doing our predictions at the end, but I got the Colts. The Colts quietly, I think, are going to be a problem. I think Carson Wentz was a problem last year. Just in full disclosure, Eagles fan, love Carson Wentz, but when you're a problem, you're a problem. We'll get to that. But the running game, Jonathan Taylor, real talk, should have gotten more pub for MVP than he did. I don't think Aaron Rodgers was the runaway MVP of the league. I think Jonathan Taylor really was neck and neck there, because if you took him off the Colts, which that's what they did, that's how they ended up losing to the Jags. Because I think Jonathan Taylor had 10 carries that game or something like that. Against the Raiders, he had maybe like 12 or 14 or something. They stopped giving him the ball. They got too cute.
And to be clear, by the way, Jonathan Taylor, I agree with how the voting ended up coming out as far as who won and who was second, or whatever. But it should have been a lot more votes for Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah, they've made this a quarterback thing, which I disagree with. But either way, I think the Colts defense is nice. Like, they're underrated. I think part of it comes into, I know it's going to sound stupid, but the uniforms come into play. Like, they ain't got the dopest uniforms or anything like that. It's just plain. It's kind of like you don't want to give Penn State the fact that they fired just because they just wearing blue and white. And it's just real simple. But I think their defense is really nice. Linebackers are amazing. They got a decent secondary. Wide receiver game is going to be all right. They're going to be okay. I think Matty Ice keeps them relevant on offense. But again, as long as you can turn around and hand that thing off, the offensive line is dope. Like, they got a great offensive line. So as long as they can turn around and hand that rock off, they're going to be good. Play action is going to be critical for them. But just having a confident quarterback that knows how to read the field and just throw the ball where you're supposed to throw the ball. I think that's where Frank Reich and Carson Wentz fell apart. This, last year, then the year before, he just wouldn't throw the ball where he was supposed to throw the ball. Like, it He was trying to play hero ball. I think Matty Ice is too old to be playing hero ball, so I think he gonna get the ball out of his hand and throw it to where he's supposed to. I got the Colts, but
before I toss it over here to Paul, I'm gonna say this. I agree with you about the Colts winning the division, but I don't think it's going to be a runaway. But it's not because of the Titans. I think you're actually wearing your hat is exactly the reason why I don't think it's going to be a runaway. I think the Jags are actually going to be a problem. The Jags, and I honestly believe that it's because of what you're wearing on your head. I think they finally got the head coach right. They finally got somebody who, for whatever you think of him, he can develop that quarterback situation. He can do something with Trevor Lawrence. And so I'm not predicting that they're going to make some quantum leap. But you guys remember, like, when – because I look at it, I look at it from the historical standpoint. You remember when Carson Palmer, in the first year he started, not obviously his first year he didn't play, but the first year where he started, and even though he didn't, like, I think the Bengals were only like 7-9, they didn't really make any serious noise. They were out of it with 2 weeks left, but you could still see the promise coming. I kind of see the Jags in that 7-10 area of wins. And I know everybody's looking at the schedule. I just think I think they've drafted well, but I think Peterson is the difference. I'm not saying even that they're going to come in second behind the Colts. I'm saying I think there are some gimme games where people are looking at the schedule thinking they're going to get some gimme games against the Jags. I don't believe it's going to be gimme games. I think they're actually going to win more than, like, what did they win? 3 games last year or something like that? Mm-hmm. I think they're going to probably improve, get about 7. So if I'm looking for anything in that division, I'm looking to see what Peterson's going to do with the Jazz, because I really do think in the next few years, I think he's one of those coaches that people kind of thought it was a fluke in Philly. I actually think he was a lot better than some of the – I think he was less of the problem than Carson Wentz was in Philly. Let me just put it that way.
Interesting. Yeah, AFC South is all Colts. Not even close. It's all Colts. Yeah. I think 9-10 wins. They don't need more than 9 or 11 wins to get it.
So they can sit everybody in week 15.
I believe. I don't believe they have a shot at home field or anything like that. But I do believe that the Titans come back to earth. I believe attrition is going to catch up to Derrick Henry, that running style. Losing A.J. Brown is going to be huge for Tannehill.
I frankly think that playoff loss deflated.
It took the Tannehill
out. Yeah, I think the window on this personnel has closed, and they need to probably start over. I think Derrick Henry's probably going to wear another uniform in about 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
Same with Tannehill, obviously. But yeah, I think they're going to need to start going in another direction. As far as the Jags, I don't see it, bro. I love Sunshine, even though I hate Clemson. But
right.
I think it's going to be his second stop that's going to make him into what we think he's going to be, right? Like, I think it's going to take, something like what happened with Mayfield, or where it just don't work, and they just say, you know what, or with Jameis, and he goes somewhere else and he just happens to land in the right spot with the right coach, and they're going to figure it out with him. I just don't think it's going to be Jacksonville. They're too dysfunctional from the top down. It's just bad from the owner on down. They're just not a good situation. The Texans.
there's a reason why we hadn't brought them up.
Anybody giving Lovie Smith a job in 2022, and I love Lovie Smith, man.
No, it ain't his fault.
Yeah. This is completely not his fault. These next 3 years are not his fault. I'm gonna go ahead and say that on record. These next 3 years are not Lovie's fault.
He won't win 20 games over the next 3 years.
That's my point.
He won't. And here's the thing, and it won't be his fault. And this is not against Lovie. This is not against Davis Mills.
No,
this is not against their personnel. we've already hashed this out on other episodes of the Gray Matters, so there's no point in trying to deal with it. But just there's certain things and I think of it like certain households, and I try not to judge other people's households and how they raise their kids and stuff like that. But you know how, like, I coach kids, and sometimes I'll see the way that they handle, like the parents handle the kids, and I'm just like, them poor kids don't stand a chance. Like the level of dysfunction that y'all have in your home.
What there's a cost to be paid when you're not trying to win, and you have multiple years where you're not trying. It shows up more than just that one season, right? Like it's not. We lost our quarterback. Season's lost. No, like they went into the season not trying to win football games.
Oh, I know Billy. No, look at this whole middle panel. Shows me everything.
Don't talk to me about dysfunctional losing franchises that don't want to win.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Unfortunately, I'm an expert.
So that's where I think Houston definitely is just they're in that cycle of we didn't try to win for the last 2 seasons, and it's going to take them about 5 years, because when you're not trying to win, you're not trying to sign players. When you're not trying to sign players, you're giving away the talent that can help you. So now you're trying to rebuild with rookies in a grown man's league. That's not the avenue for success.
And giving too much money to players that have to come there because you got a salary. You're forced to pay money to players that are
to make it enticing. Like,
Indy is my sleeper to have home field and win the bye. Because they're in the South. Like
they got it's like the Texans. I mean the Titans. The Titans got it last year by virtue of the fact that they had at least 4 or 5 games. In the South. Like other than playing Indy, they really didn't have any. Plus, they had a softer schedule. So I think it's unanimous here. We all expect the Colts to win the division. Titans make a huge. They take a huge fall back
because of turnovers. That was the one thing I was going to say. So since I live here, I at least have to justify why I'm not picking the Titans. I think last year they were hella fortunate with the amount of turnovers that they got. I think the defensive line is still amazing. But when it's going to be same, we're going to have the exact same conversation we talk about the Cowboys. You're not going to get all those turnovers every year. And you talk about 2 years ago with the Titans, I think they're closer to that on defense where they couldn't get off the field on third down than they were for last year. The ball bounced.
Personnel on defense is matter. Here's the thing. Only thing you got to know about the Titans is this. Running backs, all that good stuff. Tannehill started a playoff game with an interception.
Yep.
Like the first play from scrimmage.
He is fragile right now. The fans, we out on them too here in Nashville. So the first pick he throw to the fans is going to rip off. It's going to be tearaway jerseys. They're going to show up with Tannehill jerseys on, and they're going
to 7 zone.
They just going to rip it off and cheer for your boy to get in. So it's a fragile state, but Malik Willis
across the board. Colts. That's what we got.
Colts.
All right. So let's move on. AFC West. This is the hot topic. Every NFL show, every channel, everybody's talking about it because this is like the quarterback division now, where everybody's believed to have a star or elite.
I don't like the way you're saying that, bro.
I'm saying
he's making it sound like it's supposedly
right. What are you talking about, bro?
No, what I'm saying is there's not a single team in this division who is actually looking for a quarterback. Everybody in this division
is a Super Bowl contender.
Because everybody in this division has a quarterback that can get it done.
Okay, that was the energy I was looking for.
I'm simply saying this is that division that everybody's talking about. And the reason why I framed it that way is because for the past 5 seasons, at least since Peyton Manning retired, the Denver Broncos were the one team that was messing it up. They were showing up to the party and they couldn't. I mean, they was throwing anybody out there, right? They was trying, and they was literally having active tryouts in the middle of the season at quarterback, right?
They actually started a wide receiver one.
Yes, right, and got mad because they wanted to hold the game off.
Right. I think he completed 1 or 2 passes or some shit.
Okay.
Yeah, that
for
was
our game. Okay.
Yeah.
Now they got Russ. And they said they're going to let Russell Wilson. They said, we're going to let Russ cook. And Russ we trust. So literally, you go from top to bottom, whether you go like last year, your Chargers barely missed it. But everybody, to a man, believe Herbert, he's the star, right? In that division, Herbert is your number one. Then,
No. What are you talking about? How is Herbert the best quarterback in that division?
Don't you do that? This is exactly my point.
Don't you do that?
This is exactly my point. Because no, Andre want to frown at me and act like I blaspheme because I talked about the division on these quarterbacks. People are literally talking about Herbert being better than Mahomes.
How? Who?
I don't know how. I'm not the one saying it. I'm just telling you what the prognosticators and talking heads are saying.
Ain't nobody on this show saying that.
Okay, my point is, I'll start then. I believe that my storyline, the only thing I care about, and I have multiple reasons for this, by the way, so it's not what you might think. My biggest storyline is Herbert actually going to make the leap that everybody expects him to and make the playoffs? Because everybody keeps trying to tell me he's the hottest young thing in the NFL, but he hasn't made the playoffs. He hasn't made that jump. He hasn't made his team good enough. And everybody's like, well, Mahomes, yeah, but we had 3 wild cards. Big Ben got in last year. The Steelers made the tournament. Shout out to Mike Tomlin. I love him. But
it was coaching.
Okay, all I'm saying is, we could say something about going for it on 4th down too much. The point is that Herbert
on your own 5.
He's what I care about. And there's no shade to anybody else, Raiders fans out there, okay, whatever, Kansas City, Denver, all this stuff. Herbert, even though I care about Russ being in the division now, I think it's going to be highly competitive, but I want to see what Herbert is going to do because I have some serious questions, and I feel like he gets a lot of passes that a lot of other quarterbacks don't get.
Man, I turned on the television in our intermission, and they was telling me that Joe Burrow was the next Tom Brady. Don't do that. Don't give me the Herbert and Joe Burrow are probably might be the most hyped young guys in the league right now. Can't nobody.
We ain't even got to that division yet. Stay on topic. Focus.
Man, we on that division because you got that.
Nah, man. We talking about Mahomes. We talking about Herbert. We talking about Russ.
I got it. I'm making a point. I'm making a point about Herbert, and it's the same point. In my opinion, him and Burrow are the same guy.
What's the difference then? Burrow just got done playing in the Super Bowl on a surgically repaired knee.
Chase, he ain't got nothing like that monster. That boy's a monster. There's nothing like that.
We're gonna get to them.
Yeah. No, he was asking what the difference is. And
I agree that is the difference, but
I'm talking about Herbert. I want to know why Herbert is so beloved because there's people
because Herbert comes from Central Casting. I've been telling you about Herbert since he was in school.
That's true.
We could go.
They literally built him in a lab.
Yeah, I've been telling you about him and Josh Allen.
And by the way, shout out to Tion because remember we was arguing about this.
Yes.
I really wanted the Bengals to go ahead and drop back and take Justin Herbert instead of getting Burrow, even though I knew Mike Brown was not listening to me. But I really wanted the Bengals.
Well, I believe if the Bengals had Justin Herbert, they would have won the Super Bowl last year. But that's a whole nother topic for the next division. But what I will say, dark. But what I will say is Herbert is great player. There's been some injuries that have been unfortunate, and again, some coaching decisions that kept him out of the tournament last year. And I believe had the coach not messed up the Raiders game,
4th down.
If he had not, like it was a little league mistake at the end of the day. Like it was little league. Like just know the rule book, bro. Like you had the game, you literally lost the game.
The Raiders literally told him, bro, we both getting in.
Right.
We both getting in.
We both get in if you take a knee. Just chill.
He was the dude that you take on he your wingman on a date, and and you got the girl, and you like, hey, it's gonna be all right. All you gotta do is just not mess it up. And
don't say nothing. Just don't say nothing. Right. Just don't say nothing.
Laugh at her jokes and don't say nothing.
You in, bro. We've done the research. We already know. And he came in and wanted to start. He had to talk.
And I walked out with the girl, and you sitting over here bitter.
Man. So I'm gonna look at it from a different way. One, I actually like Herbert. I think Herbert is extremely solid.
Yeah.
And he's everything that they were hoping Joey Arrington would be. He is super nice. But his
Joey Arrington. Why does Joey Arrington deserve mention on this show?
Only because
he's just trying to. No, he flopped. He tried to show his football.
He had a 50-story painting of him on the side of a building and he wasn't functional at all.
Phil Knight bought that, man. If you have Phil Knight as your largest donor, that ain't like, come on, brother. Like nobody was like Joe Harrington is so cold that we got to do this. They bought that, bruh.
Hey, they went for it. But anyway, I think the thing that's going to hold the Chargers back is coaching, like literally coaching, because my man was going for it on his own 20 on fourth down. Like you can't do that. Now, the D-line is going to be scary with the addition of Khalil Mack. Derwin James got paid. They're going to go essentially how Derwin James goes. I still think I got them as a wild card this year. I don't think they're going to win the division, but I do have them as a wild card. I'm going to save my prediction for the end because it's going to shock y'all. But I can't. One thing about San Diego, they've always found ways to lose.
Yes.
Even though they're in Los Angeles, but
Phillip Rivers, Antonio Gates, Tomlinson.
They've always found a way to lose games, and that was with I don't know why the previous coach is escaping me. The black coach. But they literally figured out different ways to lose for that man. And it wasn't, I mean, I know at the end of the day, it still falls on the coach, but like we talking kickers missing extra points and the original extra point, not the new one, but the original extra point.
We can go back to 94 Natron Means in the Super Bowl.
They played Deion in there. That's what they talking about. What you mean?
But they
played Deion and Steve Young.
That habit is hard to break.
They played an all-time team in the Super Bowl. You gonna hold that against Junior Seau now?
I'm holding Natron and Junior accountable. That's what I'm saying.
Hey, are you really
quarterback? Humphreys, wasn't that his name?
Come on, Stan Humphreys, bro. Who was the wideouts? Tell me one wideout.
I can't.
You can't tell me the flanker or the split.
I only remember Natron Means because whenever I played with the Chargers on John Madden, I was like, at least
you knew about Junior Seau and you knew about Natron Means. That was it.
Okay.
But I think that habit of figuring out ways to lose is hard to break. I think they'll figure it out in some games this year, but it ain't. That's why I got them with the wild card, probably winning 10 or 11 games. But it's the division is going to be nice, and the quarterbacks are going to put on shows that will be amazing. But yeah, that's my take on the Chargers. I think they'll be all right. I think Keenan Allen is still a dog. He's starting to get a little up there in age as well. There, but I think they got enough. And with Herbert, now the question is, are they going to stay committed to the run? Austin Eckler is really dope, but and he's a true weapon. He's just small. Like it's one of those things that when you got small people, some things happen to small. Football is still a
violent game. Yeah,
right.
It's still physical, right?
So
I'll go first then because I'm gonna tell you straight up. If Andre thinks he's gonna shock somebody, I'm gonna tell you. personally, for the exact same reasons Paul gave about Joe Burrow and the fact that it's nothing against Joe Burrow. The difference is the fact that he had Jamar Chase. I think the Raiders win the division, and I don't think that the Chargers even get in.
I got Kansas City holding stat quo, and I got the Raiders and the Chargers getting in, and I got Denver not getting in.
Yeah.
So this is where it becomes.
I got Denver winning 10 games and not getting in.
I got them winning 8 and not getting in. They're gonna have a losing record still. We'll get to that.
Well, so the Raiders, I have the Raiders winning the division.
I think they're the best team in the division.
I got
top to bottom. Yeah.
Yep.
So then I got
pound for pound position.
But I still got to go with coaching and quarterback over the Raiders. That's why I'm going with Kansas City.
You just like Mormons. That's all.
This is where my shock comes.
See, there you go.
I got Kansas City missing the playoffs.
Oh, you out your mind. You out your mind.
I got them missing the playoffs. I still now you mentioned that you had Denver winning 10 games and missing the playoffs. That's Kansas City for me. I got them winning 10 games.
Everybody in the division's winning 10 games.
Yes, somebody got to be on the outside looking in. I got it as Kansas City. I got it just mainly is it, and it doesn't have anything to do with Patrick Mahomes at all. It doesn't have anything to do with Andy Reid.
The defense.
Defense
has been horrible his entire tenure. Andy Reid's entire tenure in Kansas City, the defense has been disgustingly horrible. That's why Alex Smith couldn't get to the Super Bowl. It wasn't because Alex Smith was throwing checkdowns. It was because Andy Reid's defense was atrocious.
But now the defense is bad. I think the defense
on the field since Jim Johnson passed.
Here's that is exactly. And I'll say this too. Even with that, I don't think that Kansas City is going to miss. But I will say this: the tape. You can only get so many free agents and draft so many people to fix the tape that the Bills and the Bengals put on Kansas City last year.
And Honey Badger couldn't mask.
He couldn't mask enough.
He tried and he did that Super Bowl year.
Yeah.
But he couldn't do it.
He by himself. He can't put a patch.
He had to run too many different directions. Like I can't be over here and over here.
Right.
Like,
he had too many holes to patch. As great as he is, he was too much for him to patch those holes.
So I think the Raiders defense and the Chargers defenses are much better, and the offenses are going to be on par with Kansas City's. So that's why I have Kansas City missing the playoffs.
Yeah, like I said, I like the Raiders to win the division, so I'm with Andre on that. I think that both the Broncos and the Chargers miss out because, honestly, I think we're going to find out a lot about Russ. And I'm not talking about historically where he has been. I'm talking about where he is today. I think, and we'll get to this later, I think the Seahawks were more of a reflection of Russ's inability to carry the team than people really wanted.
The ball on time.
Okay. And I also think here's the last thing I'll say real quick.
Not only that, Dre, how about this? Get him somebody to throw the ball to on time.
Yes.
That I completely agree.
So
but
they fed him praise for bad habits because he had less than personnel. Right. So he had to extend the play in order to get the ball where it needed to be because his receivers couldn't get open on time.
Here's the deal, and I'm saying it, and this is no shade to him. For all of the greatness of DK Metcalf, he's probably the least disciplined route runner of any of the good receivers in the league right now, meaning it is hard to get the ball on time. It's the same thing we saw with TJ, Houshmandzadeh, and Chad. TJ was always where he was supposed to be.
Right.
When he was
supposed to be there, Chad was. Anyway,
but if you've been doing this for 6 years at this point, or however many years Russell was in Seattle,
you are.
Is his clock messed up? I guess is what I'm getting.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, he's got a guy like Jerry Jeudy now, who is a freaking technician.
Yes.
And can run the tree like no other. And like you said, we gonna see If he can get the ball out on time and on schedule and be patient.
And I'll say this, because the other little caveat there is, I think that what we're going to find out about Staley and the Chargers organization, I keep wanting to say San Diego, but I honestly think that we're going to find out about Staley that he actually got a little more hype than what he deserved, in my opinion. Anthony Lynn was the person we were looking for, by the way. Yeah, I think we're going to find out that Staley is not that much of an upgrade over Anthony Lynn, and I think
isn't he part of Old Boy's tree?
Who was that? Reed?
McVay,
yes.
Yeah.
He's another one of the McVay disciples.
If you've had a cup of coffee with McVay, you can get a job. I mean, this is ridiculous. Like, I saw McVay in the airport call me. I know a little football.
Man. Bruh. What? And it worked out for this next division since we're here.
Right.
The AFC North. I know y'all didn't think we was going to do anything but save the AFC North.
Of course not.
Okay. Look, all this orange and black I'm wearing, is you out your mind?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we here.
We need a moderator, so we didn't really have a choice in this, y'all.
Hey, show didn't.
Listen, look, you see what I got in the black,
y'all.
Listen, okay, like I said, Mike got my shirts right. I got about 3 of them. I ain't even break out the Autobot one, the Transformers.
Right.
I got another hat for you, man. Listen, I could do this all day. We could do about 10 of these. I got some Bengals gear for you. Mm-hmm. But they won a division last year, first time in a long time, first time since Marvin Lewis. But they actually did benefit from the fact that there was some real dysfunction going on. Obviously,
sweet spot in the game.
Yeah, as you said, sweet spot in the game. And here's the thing: no matter what kind of fandom you are, I have to be honest. The Bengals benefited from the fact that they literally, for the first time in probably 20 years, were the least dysfunctional team
in the
division. Like, for real. Because you look at it, Lamar was not – he wasn't himself. He couldn't play.
Well, he was –
Baker –
Well, they was in first place until he got hurt. So
he was in sweats.
Yeah, he literally couldn't play. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
And I think there's something to be said about the Ravens and what they're doing, and there's a reason why he couldn't play, but that's another – we'll get to that. I don't think it's all just a matter of where he was injured. I think there's something to the way that they have set up their team. The Browns, obviously, the fiasco with Baker Mayfield and going back and forth.
He was banged up. The offensive line was banged up.
Literally, the man couldn't play.
The receivers were banged up.
And he came back. In my opinion, Baker Mayfield would still be in Cleveland had he just went ahead and shut it down. What was it, like week 10 or 11 or something like that, instead of trying to come back?
No, he'd have been gone regardless.
He should have shut it down in week 2 after he dislocated his shoulder.
But when he
came back,
he tore his labrum. When he tore his labrum trying to make a play on the pick, it should have been it.
Because even though I've been a critic of Baker Mayfield and I feel like it's been justified, the fact is I don't think Baker Mayfield is nearly as bad as some have tried to make him out to be. That being said, and then the Steelers have finally moved off of Big Ben. Mm-hmm. The Steelers were on him probably 3 years too long, in my opinion. Most people will say it wasn't quite enough. I think it's been at least 3 or 4 seasons too long. Big Ben showed that he could not get the ball more than 30 yards down the field accurately. I saw that at least 3 years ago. What was it? Marvin Lewis's last year.
Well, he had Tommy John.
Yeah. And he never quite
and I told
got it back.
He's the only quarterback in the history of the NFL to have Tommy John. There's a reason.
He kept playing. Like, you can have it, you just can't throw it again. Not a football.
And we saw he couldn't throw.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
He had it.
He literally, even the way his arm, it was like he was almost flinging it out. The thing about it is, and I say all this simply to say that even though the Bengals did win a division last year, and I do feel like the Bengals improved, they actually did benefit from the fact that a lot of other dominoes fell in their favor. And so the question for me is, do you believe that the Bengals, by showing, because let's face it, that was the worst offensive line I've ever seen on a playoff team in my life. I couldn't believe. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe they got past the Titans after they put Joe Burrow.
Tom Brady gets some worse offensive lines to the Super Bowl.
I don't know if he
with a worse receiving core too.
9 times, 9 sacks in one playoff game, bro.
Tommy getting rid of the rock. Joe hold on to the thing. Joe of them sacks was Joe's.
9 of them.
About 3 or 4 of them sacks was Joe's. The rest of them was the Lions.
Only thing is the Titans led the league. But I know for a fact interior linemen, they led the league in sacks. It wasn't like
and the Bengals had the worst left guard in the history of the league.
In the history, listen, worst
left guard in the history of the league.
If I could have gotten on the plane fast enough, I would have suited up. I'd have been like, Mike, this one on me. Let me go on and step in for your boy. Because he looked lost.
He played
lost.
He played for the other team.
Lost had nothing to do with what was going on there. He was
getting monster truck. I'm talking.
They was playing. They were playing 12-on-10 out there.
Boy.
So anyway, do we believe? With that being said, assuming again, we can obviously there's going to be somebody gets hurt.
And they had old boy Andre Smith. Remember him? How sorry he was.
Yeah. Somewhere he was eating his popcorn like I thought.
Andre Smith was somewhere like, see, I tried to tell you.
So the question is, did the Bengals, by shoring up the offensive line, do enough to maintain their position in the top of the division, or do we believe there's somebody coming for them? Because let's face it, even though Pittsburgh moved off of Big Ben, and I love Mike Tomlin, is a rookie quarterback or Mitchell Trubisky going to be enough? Deshaun Watson isn't. It just came down. He has, 11-game suspension now. So Cleveland is done.
Unless they make a trade.
I'm nothing against, shout out to Jacoby Brissett, but nobody's going to seriously believe that the Browns are going to be able to make a leap of the type that they're going to need to be able to be any real do any real damage in the division or even in the conference. And then
Garoppolo.
That's a wild card because he's not playing. He's right now. He was San Francisco. I'm not even sure San Francisco is going to let him go. We'll get to that when we get to the NFC. But thinking of what the Ravens are doing, even though Lamar is coming back, I still don't know that they have enough around Lamar to keep him from having to run for his life.
What do you need around Lamar?
That's it. My point is, I think we're going to find out that he actually needs a lot more than what the Ravens think that he does. So the question is, what are you looking for in the AFC North?
Ravens. Ravens regain control of the division. I think the Bengals have a shot to get the wild card. I think it's between Bengals and the Steelers for the wild card.
It's hard to believe that Mike Tomlin's not getting in.
Mike gonna win 9 or 10. I just don't know if he's getting in.
You can just go ahead. You ain't even got to use your pencil. You can go ahead and get your ink pen, stamp that thing in. He gonna win at least 9. 9 out of 17 games. He gonna win 9.
9 or 10. I think Baltimore is gonna win 13 or 14 games. I think Baltimore is gonna get back on track. I think Lamar Jackson is gonna have a ridiculous season. I think playoffs is going to be ridiculous this year. I think Lamar, I think Joe gets them in. I think Joe wins a tiebreaker over Pittsburgh and gets the boys in. And that gets me to 7, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. What you got, Andre? I already know you
Buffalo. I got Buffalo, Indy, Kansas City, and Oakland. And then Cincinnati and Baltimore. That's my 7.
No. Wait a minute. So you said who in the West?
Kansas City and Oakland. I'm sorry, Las Vegas.
Las Vegas, yeah. This Oakland, San Diego stuff messing everybody up. All right. Yeah. So you got the Chiefs, the Raiders, the Colts, the Bills, the Ravens, and who else? The Bengals and who else?
Bengals.
Okay. So what you got? What say you? Come on, fanboy. Give me some Lamar Jackson talk. Give me some Louisville conversation here. What you got? Tell me why. Tell me all the reasons, because I know you about to spit them out. Give me all the reasons why you believe that Lamar Jackson is going to carry the Ravens to the Super Bowl this year.
I surely will. Just in case you thought I wasn't going to take that, I surely will.
Right.
Smash that right on.
No, the first thing I in realistic terms with the Ravens, I think the first thing was just health. Mm-hmm. Like there is something to be said to I'm handing to my fifth string running back.
They lost 3 running backs before they even snapped.
They had the best corner. They had the best pair of corners in the NFL, and then none of them played.
Yeah, like I just think health is. I cannot words cannot really describe how miraculous it was that they were even leading.
Nah, it was that bad
at one point, like with the number 1 seed. Yeah, so I think
it was that bad.
So I think just health in general is going to put the Ravens back to a prominent place. I think Bateman coming along, just different. They got all the tight ends healthy. I think they're still going to be tight end centric when they throw the ball.
They should be.
They should be, but I just think they're more dangerous just because of the fact that they'll have J.K. Dobbins back and Gus and all. Like the running backs, I know we try to devalue them, but for their system, the running backs do matter. Whether it's to actually run or to pick up the pass, because the one thing that Lamar has always struggled with, and it's not really his fault all the way, it's based on how he was coached at Louisville. Zero blitz destroys Lamar. If he can't out athlete you, there's a problem with a zero blitz. But part of that comes down to pass protection. The Ravens as a whole struggle with zero blitz because they literally were on people who work for UPS as the running backs by the time the season ended. Mm-hmm. You want me to go pick up this blitz? And the Bengals did what they were supposed to. They're supposed to run the score. When you've taken that many hands over the years, when you got a chance to lay the hammer on them, lay the hammer on them. But then, the blueprint came out. Hey, they can't pick up zero blitz. Villanueva should have been retired 3 years ago because he couldn't move his feet. So I think just those subtle replacements and things like that are going to put the Ravens back where they need to be. As far as the Bengals, I think I agree with you that the Bengals as a team, this is going to sound oxymoronic, but I really believe this. I think as a team, they're going to be better, but their record's going to be worse.
It makes sense what you're saying, though.
Because one, there's something to be said for being the hunter versus the hunted. They're going to get everybody's best shot. And because they laid the smackdown on so many teams last year,
talk so bad.
There's a lot of people. They're going to be playing Duke. This is going to be their Duke game in basketball. Like, yo, we showing up.
They don't know what Ohio State feel like every week.
Right. So they got a lot of, primetime games. So they're going to get everybody's best shot. And it's just a different environment when you get in that. I think the Steelers are still just going to be the Steelers. Like, Mike Tomlin, Duck Hodges was his quarterback, and they still didn't have a losing record. Like, Duck. Like, does anybody even know where Duck Hodges is at this point? I ain't seen him in the
I didn't know who Duck Hodges was. I hadn't seen Duck Hodges till he got to Pittsburgh.
I
ain't seen him since he left.
Seen him since the AAFL.
And y'all mentioned his name 6 times in this particular episode, and that's 6 more times that I've heard it since the last time he took a snap for the Steelers.
So the fact that Mike Tomlin can power that, the defensive line, TJ Watt is still going to be TJ Watt. Like, he's still unblockable. Like,
you got
Minka Fitzpatrick is like they have on each level they have playmakers to be able to do what they need to be able.
And they got the backer out of that blue school that's north of Ohio.
Yeah, we ain't gonna. I'm not even an Ohio State fan. I still ain't gonna mention them. Right. So it's just we from Cincinnati.
So here's my question.
Yeah, it's ingratiated.
2 things here. First question is, what weakness did the Bengals have last year that they needed to clean up? Give me 2 of them.
Joe Burrow's turnovers.
He only had 14.
That's one a game, damn near, bro.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
I'm at so wait a minute. You're telling me that
that's 14 interceptions. How many fumbles did he have?
I don't know. I think it was like 2 or 3. He didn't have a fumbling problem. Now that's Lamar Jackson. That's not Joe Burrow. The point is, you're saying that their biggest problem last year was Joe Burrow's turnovers?
No, their biggest problem was the offensive line.
I was getting ready to say, like,
untimely. Okay, here's what I'm saying about Joe Burrow's turnovers. Untimeliness of them. Take a sack, throw the ball away, not knowing when a play is over, knowing you have a shoddy offensive line. That was the problem. Is trying to do too much. Just eat the ball. No one.
Now here's that. But you okay? You walked me right into it. Trying to do too much. I agree with you 1,000%. He was trying to do too much on too many plays, which led to even the handful of fumbles he had or whatever it was. That's what it led to.
Doing too much.
Okay, but the doing too much comes from the fact that you have an offensive line that forces you to do too much.
Well, but he was.
Yeah, no,
plays are there. There are plays there. Not every play he's running for his life. There are plays that are there for him.
You grow up, you mature, you level out.
He was Carson Wentz in it, but he didn't have a Jamar. But Carson Wentz didn't have a Jamar Chase.
Thank you.
Here's what I'm saying. I'm only saying this. I think that very often, and this
he's trying to use his calm voice.
I'm saying I think that when it comes to, and this is going back to the AFC West now.
He got a little Jameis in him.
No, this is the
frustration. Joe got a little Jameis in him. This is a little Jameis Wentz.
I ain't said it yet. My frustration with the conversation around Joe Burrow is he has always been spoken of as with veteran lenses and veteran eyes, but with Justin Herbert, for example, they talk about him like, you know what, he was only in his second year. We forget Joe Burrow, what was it, week 10, he went out in his first year, and then he played a full season last year minus the Cleveland game because they had already won a division. So we're talking about
Burrow he's got a 5-year transfer. Justin Herbert graduated with a master's at 20 years old, my man. Okay. They're not the same.
I'm not saying
the same.
Okay. I'm not saying they're the same age. What I'm saying is I think that the Bengals, for the first time in my life, okay, in my 47 years almost on the planet, the Bengals did exactly what they needed to do in the offseason. They went and drafted and signed free agents. They went and got guys on defense that they needed. They literally went to that team up north and got what they needed, even considering the fact that they put him on the franchise tag. They went and got a safety with the understanding that we got to shore some things up on the back end. My point is this. I can almost agree that the Bengals could. I'm not saying it's like a lock, like they're going to win the division. But I asked you, I started with what holes do they have, because I'm looking at Jamar Chase and T. Higgins,
legacy,
and Tyler Boyd, and personally,
that's the holes that they have, my man.
I believe
we went through the schedule, right?
I firmly believe that I feel like if Joe Mixon, who we haven't brought up, Joe Mixon has shown himself to be a little bit on the fragile side. He gets hurt sometimes. He doesn't always finish games.
So is it the Lions' fault when Joe Mixon get hurt?
That's my point. Listen,
I'm asking because it's the Lions' fault when Joe Burrow get hurt. But Joe Mixon.
I'm simply saying again.
Help me understand.
You didn't let me say it. I'll help you understand. My point is the offensive line. Them bringing in 3 free agents and drafting an offensive lineman, the Bengals understood the assignment, because everything hinges upon whether or not Joe Mixon can find a hole and doesn't have to do too much, and whether or not Joe Burrow actually has more than 2.7 seconds to drop back and find his second option. I personally believe that it's not going to be a runaway in the division. I think it's a division that frankly comes down to the Ravens and the Bengals for who's going to win it.
How many wins?
I don't think they get better than what they did last year. I think it's a 10-win division.
I got Baltimore winning 13 games, bro.
You crazy.
I'm not disagreeing.
With them, y'all schedule is set up for y'all to contend for home. We went through this in the meeting, right? Y'all schedule is set up for y'all to compete for the home field.
But who are the?
But y'all are the Bengals. But you're the Bengals. That's the
But what I'm asking is, who are the Ravens going to? Who is Lamar going to throw the ball to?
He has shown that you don't need to know who that is.
They was the number 1 seed just a couple years ago. So let's not. I think they returned to form. I think Bateman is going to be a lot more solid than people are thinking, and I think just the tight ends being healthy are going to give them that leg that they need. Like they just need consistency.
I'm sorry.
And Staley coming back as well, or Stanley coming back, and like offensive line consistency, and can we just like they had 23 people on IR last year, and 18 of them happened before the season started. So I think people forget, that Lamar doesn't need everything. They just need consistency on the offensive line and to be able to pick up a blitz. That's really it. Now, as far as the Bengals go, the one thing that I do question, I know they brought in 3 new free agents, and I've been one of the people who applauded the fact that they understood the assignment.
What about Eli Apple? He's still gonna start.
I already got work for him. So I still ain't off his case. My question isn't the fact that they understood the assignment. The question is who's teaching the assignment. Because one thing because the Bengals have had a bad offensive line for a pretty good minute now. Is that coaching? Is really what I'm.
They just brought in the new coach from the Cowboys.
Yeah, but
ain't he the old coach that was there all them years? They was horrible before.
Who you mean, the Cowboys coach? The Cowboys.
The Bengals offensive line coach was there for decades. Remember?
No, they just brought in the offensive line coach from the Cowboys.
But didn't he go to the Cowboys though?
From the Bengals.
Bengals.
But do you understand that up until last year, the Cowboys for like 5 or 6 seasons had easily, like inarguably, the best offensive line in the game.
Actually, for the last 3 years, the Cowboys line has been kind of bad. That's why.
No, I'm talking about the span of time. The Cowboys did not have a weakness at offensive line. They actually considered
at the end of Tony Romo's career.
I'm not going back that far.
I'm trying to tell you when the Cowboys line was what you think, what you're saying it is.
It was like 2-3 years ago. What are you talking about?
It was DeMarco Murray. It was Ezekiel Elliott's rookie year. The Cowboys line ain't been right since Ezekiel Elliott was a rookie.
That was like 2015.
Ezekiel Elliott was at Ohio State in 2015, bro.
That's what I'm talking about. That was 7 years. You make it sound like that was like
they
15 years ago.
You got one of their old linemen is what I'm trying to tell you.
No, I'm talking about the coach. You said coach. I'm saying that coach during that time.
Okay.
He was coaching the Cowboys offensive line. It's not like he forgot how to coach from 6 years ago or 3 years ago or whatever it was.
Okay, but there's a difference. Okay. All right. I see what you're saying. And you have a point. However, there's a difference when you're coaching great talent and when you're not. So if this is the same guy that was with the Bengals for all those years, and then he went with the Cowboys, and Stephen Jones hit home run after home run after home run in the draft, and he coached those guys for a few years, and now he's back with the Bengals, that ain't got nothing to do with him.
Okay. And this is all I'm saying. He's not a bad coach. Regardless of where he ranks. I'm not talking about that.
It's not like Palmer's knee.
Listen to me. Listen to what I'm saying. I'm not finished. What I'm saying is the Bengals gave up 51 sacks in the regular season and 9 in the postseason against one team. They went out and got 3 starters. I didn't say they were perennial Pro Bowlers, Hall of Famers, none of that. They went out and got 3 starters. The Bengals
They
didn't
had
have
3 starters last year, my guy.
They didn't have 3 starters last year.
They started.
Because they had to.
My point, my man. My point. That's you making my point for.
I'm only saying my point is they upgraded.
My point is
we
don't know.
On the line.
We don't. So that's what. That's
how
the
can
point
you not know? So why is it that he's good enough to start for Tom Brady in Tampa Bay, and he's good enough to start for the Cowboys? But he's not good enough to start for the Bengals.
But
you make it sound like they went and got started from the Texans or something.
They still have to gel. That's been my point.
And I agree with that. I'm only saying it isn't like they just went out and got some unknowns that we're not sure if they can actually hang in the NFL. The Bengals could not hang in the NFL at the offensive line last year. Joe Burrow got destroyed. Joe Mixon was running for his life before he even got the handoff.
Back to him, too.
They upgraded.
He got a little Anthony Davis in him. That's all I'm saying. Joe Mixon got a little Anthony Davis in him.
Y'all hard on Mix.
He on the sidelines a lot.
Y'all hard on Mix. I
like All right, Mix. You know what? Wrap this up. Give me a prediction.
I like
what you Mix. Got? What's your prediction, Paul?
I told you. I got Baltimore coming out of the North, and I can't. It's a coin flip. It's a tiebreaker. It depends on who wins the tiebreaker between y'all and the Steelers. I think 2 get out of the North, and I think 2 get out of the West. And I think if y'all don't win like, more than 10, you might only get 1 in out of the North, and you might mess around and get San Diego, or you might get 3 in out of the West. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I actually think it's the exact opposite, but I'm gonna let you go ahead and go first. Fanboy, Lamar Jackson, apologist.
Hey, if he can play, he can play. I that's where I'm at. But I got the Ravens in. Now, I will be a fanboy on 1 point, so I'll even go ahead and take the bullet. But I got the Ravens winning this. I got the Steelers with the wild card. I don't have the Bengals making the playoffs. Like I said, I got them as a better team this year, but not a better record, which is how they're going to miss the playoffs. So I know we recapped and had 7. Paul gave it 7. My 7 are the Ravens, the Steelers, the Chargers, the Raiders, the Colts, the Bills, and Teddy Two Gloves going to read the Dolphins into them.
What? You got Teddy Two Gloves sneaking in?
Because I'm getting because they got to. I think the Titans is going to take a big step back.
I believe that too.
I think the Jaguars, or not the Jaguars. I got the Titans taking a big step back, and I got
the Dolphins in.
So
you got 2 out of the AFC East.
I got 2 out of the AFC because I think New England's going to be terrible. That's my point.
I agree with that.
I just don't think they're gonna be more terrible than Miami.
I got the Jets being terrible, and I got New England being terrible. So I got them. That should be the Dolphins were beating the New England when New England was good. So
I got the Jets doing Jet stuff, but I don't have them being terrible. Okay, my prediction is really simply this. Okay, I've got in the West. I've got let me see here. I got the Raiders winning the division. I've also got the Chiefs getting in the wild card. In the South, I've got the Colts. And in the East, I've got the Bills. Like, they're going to run away with that. Mm-hmm. And I got 3 coming out of the North.
How?
Because I think Pittsburgh, Baltimore, and Cincinnati all get in. Just for the reason that you said, but it's the opposite thinking. I think that the West is going to. Right. I think the West is going to be so hard they're going to beat each other up. I don't think they're all like you were saying. I think they're all going to have 10 wins. I don't think they're all going to have 10 wins. I think that it's going to be one of those where there's going to be a whole bunch of 9 and 8s out west.
It's definitely coming down to the last week. Whatever it's going to be some scenarios that come up on the last week.
And here's the reason why I think it'll be 3.
All about the NFL tiebreaker system.
I was getting ready to the tiebreaker. That's right. Yeah. Because here's the reason why I say that too. Because in the conference, I think the division is getting too much play. In the conference, the AFC North has by far the easiest schedule that they've had in a long time. There's a lot of Patriots and a lot of Falcons on that AFC North schedule.
So they got the East and the South.
They got the East and the South, dog. There's some Dolphins and some Falcons and some.
And who's the half division they have?
Huh?
Because you get 2 divisions and a half, right?
No, you get 2 divisions and then you get
your
one
own
other game. And the only other game the Bengals get that's not a division or the other conference is they get the Cowboys. And I think the Ravens get
so they don't have any other. I thought they had 2, so they don't have another game in the East. Okay.
The only outside of conference, outside division game that they would get that's not a part of the regular scheduling format would be the Cowboys.
Forget about that 17.
That 17th game, yeah. And here's the thing. I think the Bengals can win that too. I don't know exactly who it was. I think the Steelers get somebody that's a cakewalk too. I can't remember. The point is, I think that the AFC, it's not a matter of like, because I think the Bengals are but it's not even familiarity. It's just looking at the schedule, all things being equal, I think they played the AFC North plays the easiest schedule of all the other divisions. And so I think they're going to get 3 in because they're actually good enough to get 3 in as long as Lamar plays. And I'll just say this real quick, and you kind of alluded to it, Paul. I think Jimmy G is going to end up in Cleveland, and that's going to mess up. We're going to have to redo this whole entire show.
I think Jimmy G is going to end up in Cleveland, bro. I think
we got to run this whole thing back if Jimmy G ended up there. In fact, I honestly thought that the Steelers were going to pull the trigger on him, and then I was really going to be sick.
You know what? Steelers, Cleveland, Jets are the 3 things I'm thinking with Jimmy that could really make me reevaluate my picks. Because if Jimmy's with the Steelers, then the Steelers are winning the division.
Whatever AFC team that Jimmy Garoppolo goes to, I'm willing to put it right here. I'm gonna put it right here on the record. Whoever he goes to, they're gonna make the playoffs.
No, not if he goes to the Jets.
Absolutely, absolutely. They'll get a wild card. The Jets are good enough. The Jets have enough talent.
I think the Jets are still a year away, so that's why I got them being still.
That's the same thing they said about the Bengals last year, that they were a year away.
No. The Jets are such a horrible franchise, and they've made such horrible picks.
Look at the hat I'm wearing, dog.
No, but I'm saying Mekhi Becton got hurt. So I'm just saying overall the Jets
makes
are
it
here.
Yeah.
They literally are a year away from being
personnel. Well, you're saying personnel wise, they're just a year away.
They need a quarterback.
The Bengals were dysfunctional, but they had talent. The Jets are dysfunctional, but they don't have all of the talent that they need.
And they're vested in a quarterback they don't believe in at all. They in the same situation Miami's in, except Miami has more talent because they're a better organization. And Flores was down there and provided more structure and culture down there. Right. So what's down there in the cupboard for this guy? What's his name? McDaniel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What's down there for him? He's got some clay that he can actually work with.
And shout out to Stephen Ross, who actually the fans need to show up.
Did you say shout out to Stephen Ross? Okay.
Somebody need to show up to his house and raid his compound, because why does he still have a team? And I know there's another conversation for another day, but
no. We need to call out all the owners that need to go. Dan Snyder.
You breaking up.
Stephen Ross.
The feds must be listening.
The feds are listening because they just fuzzed out.
They didn't froze.
As soon as I said Dan Snyder, it ruined everything. Yeah, right?
But okay. So
right now you got latency.
All right. So predictions in. We got our predictions for the conference. Who do we think is coming out of AFC to represent the Super Bowl?
Go ahead, Paul.
Pat.
Wait a minute. Did you say Pat?
Pat.
Oh, yeah. I'm thinking, man. Ooh, I almost had a heart attack. I thought you were talking about the Patriots.
I'm talking about Pat Mahomes.
Oh, okay. Kermit.
Yeah.
All right.
That's my guy, man. That's my dude. I love Pat Mahomes. Mm-hmm. I ain't even no Chiefs fan, but he must see TV. Him and Lamar, boy, what a time to be alive if you're a fan of black quarterbacks.
Man. Yeah, this is true. Who you got, Andre? AFC.
I got the Ravens. I got the Ravens. Everything's pointing to the Bills, which is why I don't have the Bills. So yeah, I got the Ravens in the Super Bowl. What about you, Billy? Who you got?
Let me think about it for a second. I'm wondering.
You got the Bengals in back-to-back Super Bowls.
Let me see.
Wow.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. You know why? Because the Bengals did enough to fix their hole. All right. Obviously, you got to get the balls bounced away. Like you said, a sweet spot in the game. You got to get some luck. You got to get some, fortunate mishaps for other teams, all kinds of stuff. But
you got
yes,
the Bengals in back-to-back Super Bowl.
Absolutely. And honestly, here's the thing. And I think, honestly, they're going to squeak in, like I said, a wild card. And I don't even mean like
they're gonna run the wild card route again. Like
you got them winning 3 games to get to the Super Bowl again.
I got them, and here's the thing, and I got it being dominant too. I think in the playoffs,
you be dominant? How can you be wild card and be a?
But I'm the fanboy. Okay, go ahead. No, keep.
No, am I running from this? Am I like what are we talking about here? Like, look at me. I said what I said.
Wow.
So you can't even have them have it. You know what? You'd have had more credibility if you said, you know what? I looked at the schedule. I got them boys winning home field.
Like I said,
and we got the bye, and y'all got to come through the
I've
jungle.
been a big listen. I've been a big.
That's mean it. Mean it.
I think Joe Burrow. Here's the other thing. I'm gonna take it a step further. You ready for this?
Joe Burrow MVP.
Joe Burrow MVP. You heard it.
What about Chase?
What about him? Chase is great. Chase going to the Hall if he keep this up, but this ain't gonna be it.
Bruh, what was Joe Burrow without Chase?
I've never seen him without Chase because, frankly, at LSU, I mean, it is what it is, right? Why I got to see him without Chase? They on the same team. Stop speaking ill of my team.
Just saying, my man. I'm just
we ain't got
saying,
to see him.
If the production is one way with the guys there and it's not the same way when he's not.
When has he not been there?
Obviously, that guy's more valuable.
I don't care. I said who gonna win it.
I think
I didn't tell you who's more
what?
valuable.
If you get your dream, if you get what you want, Jamar Chase is gonna win MVP. He's gonna be the first receiver since what? Jerry Rice to win MVP.
Yeah. Because
that's how the Bengals get back to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, didn't Steve Smith come in like second one year or something?
Well, he got a triple crown.
Yeah, he got the triple crown, and Randy Moss came close too.
Yeah, Randy Moss came close one year. But no, I think here's the thing. I also think that Jamar Chase is not a fluke. I'm not predicting he's like better than Jerry Rice or nothing like that.
He schemed in the.
He schemed well, but
he schemed well.
He's a dog, but again, overall,
he's not Devontae Adams. He's not. What's my guy down in
Tyreek Hill?
No, he's better than Tyreek Hill. He's not my guy down in New Orleans.
You're talking about Michael Thomas? Yeah,
he's not Michael Thomas. He's
not built to be.
He's not a real live wide receiver. He's a glitch in the game. He's a grease man. He's a playmaker.
You know what? Cut his mic off because he's
a playmaker. He's not. He ain't out there routing cats up like your boy Diggs.
Oh.
Diggs will route you up, bruh. They not doing the same thing, man.
You do realize that Diggs had one catch in the playoffs, right? He had a whole playoff game, had one catch. We had this conversation.
Here we go.
I know you love him.
I just said Chase is better than Tyreek Hill, and you just glossed over that.
That ain't saying much. If you tell me he's faster, that's saying something. Tyreek Hill is lightning, but being a better receiver, it's more than just we run routes and
Tyreek Hill. Ain't he the highest paid receiver in the world?
I know you love fundamentals and all, but you got to be able to hit the B button every once in a while.
I understand that, and what I'm saying is, dude ain't turn on the tape. He ain't routing cats up. He ain't out there like Amari Cooper sitting you down. You know what I'm talking about, Dre?
1 year.
That's not what he's doing.
He already telling me what he not. He snatched every record, but you telling me what he not.
Look, man, he out there playing Kill the Man.
And it worked.
He out there playing kill. That's all I'm saying, dog.
Ain't that what Lamar doing? Like, ain't that what everybody doing? Ain't that what you telling me Patty ain't doing that out in KC?
No, man, don't do that. Don't do that.
Well,
we still got a whole nother conference to go, so I think we need to kill this.
We got a whole season. Oh boy, you're gonna be so frustrated on Monday evenings.
So listen, we're gonna wrap this up. Who that?
Yep.
The Bengals. Let's go ahead and win this thing. Thank you for joining us on this special episode of The Gray Matters. We look forward to joining you the rest of this season. We're going to catch you on some live games. We're going to be streaming, so you all can definitely join in on the fun, comment, share, tell us what you think. If you got something bad to say about the Bengals, go ahead and keep that. Take that.
No, say that.
Don't nobody
say all of it.
We don't do that up in here.
You see his IG handle right there. Just go ahead and send him direct messages.
Right.
Listen, we out. Looking forward
he likes
to
nudes
season.
from hairy men.
We out. It's been great. It's been a lot of fun. Be blessed. We'll see you next time.
Peace.
Peace.